Hello, I thought it would be helpful to make a short video to show how to integrate Facebook's Pixel with a Wix website. And hopefully this will clear some things up. It's hard to write it all out in text and get it all across on the forum. So for anyone who wants to know how to do this, I'm going to walk you through it here the way I figured out how to do it, and hopefully it can help you out. So the first thing you need to do is integrate the Facebook Pixel with Wix website, and that's really easy to do. You can find that on their little tutorials. If you come over to your dashboard, after you're done, you should be able to go into tracking and analytics, and then you should see something that looks just like this. So it says Facebook Pixel. I've applied it on all my pages. I find that that's the best for what I want to do, and it makes it easier because you know it's there for everything. This is head. It means it puts it in the header files for the HTML files, which control the website. This isn't really important. Once you get this here, you're ready to go. So it says Facebook Pixel applied on all pages. Now that we have that, we come over to the website, the web page we want to apply a button click to in order to track with Facebook Pixel. So I picked this page from my website, and I don't have anything really fabulous on it, but if you look, I want to turn this button number 3, this buy now. This button is linked to take you to Amazon. So just like normal, you would set this up to link to a web address. You could put your affiliate tracking up here if you want, or just the link. That's all well and good. To apply the pixel tracking on Wix, you actually have to use the Wix code module. So to turn it on, you come up here to your top menu and you click on code here, or you hover over it. Typically then it will give you a little button that says turn on developer tools or turn on Wix code or something like that. I've already turned mine on, so you can see now I have a button to turn it off, which I don't want to do. So you would turn it on right there. Once Wix code is applied, it may or may not pop up a side window that looks like this. It shows you all your pages and things like that. That window's really handy for navigating quickly to your different pages. But for now, I'm just going to click this little arrow and hide it because it's not really important for what we want to do. All right, so I have a button, this Buy Now button, that I want to apply the tracking to. If you hover over it, you can see that it pops up a hashtag button number 3. That tells me the name of this button for the purposes of coding. Okay, so we'll be doing everything to button number 3. So all you need to do is first, if you come down here at the bottom of the page, it says page code. If you click on that, it'll pop up a little code window where you can type in code. You should already have this on ready function there. Okay. What you won't have is I actually have a command in here. I'm highlighting it right now. That's just going to hide my header stuff and my footer things because I don't want it to show on this page. And so I'm hiding it. Yours won't have that line of code there, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect what we're about to do at all. Okay, so if you look, that's the only thing in this code section. So I can scroll down here. There's nothing else there, and that's great. So you could put other stuff there. It wouldn't affect it really. Okay, so if you click on it, it'll shrink that down. So what you need to do now is you right-click on the button. Okay, when you right-click on the button that you want to put the tracking on, you should now get a big list of things you can do. At the very bottom, it says View Properties. That's what we want to do. So you click that. That brings up this property window right here. And now the property window lets you decide on some things: enable, collapse, unload, hidden unload. Really, none of this is important to what we want to do. We want it to be enabled by default, so when the page loads, the button's ready to go, and you can see it, and it's not hidden. Down here, though, where it says events, these are different things that you can do based on a user's action on your page. So, for instance, on mouse in, that would be when someone's mouse crosses onto the button. You could make it do something. For the purpose of tracking clicks, we want to use the onClick function right here. So that means whenever someone comes to your page and actually clicks that button, they will it'll do whatever function that is. So to to add the function, we go to onClick, and there's a little plus thing. We just click that plus, and look, it tells me, okay, button3 underscore click. The code page popped up. So if you scroll down and look at your code page, it's not there yet, but we're gonna click off of that. There we go, and now it puts in the function for you. So see how this says button3 on click? That's the name of the function. And now it created a function down here for you called button3 underscore click event W. So you can ignore these function parameters. It's already set up. Right here, this is a comment line, so it means it doesn't actually include it in the code. You could type anything you want there. But we'll just leave it there. It says add your code for this event here. So typically it would go below it. So anything you put inside here is going to execute when somebody clicks that button, but it has to be written in proper code form. Well, fortunately, Wix has already incorporated the Facebook Pixel and also some Google tracking events into their code. So we don't actually use the Facebook Pixel code when we write in what we're going to write into our section. We're going to call a Wix code function that will then take our information and send it to the Pixel. Okay, so Wix doesn't allow us to directly access the Pixel, which is kind of sad in my opinion, but instead we have to go through their code. So I have linked on the SPF website in this comment thread above a link to this page, which is the API code page for the track event function. Okay, it's actually a lot bigger than that. If it loads, it might load you at the top of the page here, Wix code API reference. If that's the case, you just need to scroll down a little, and under Wix window here, you need to click on track event. That's the function. So here we go. This is the track event function. This is basically everything you could want to know about the function, but you have to be a pretty decent coder to understand these top parts. But to actually implement it, you don't so much. So what we're going to do is we're going to look, it gives you a short description. More importantly, if we keep scrolling down, we can find examples, and we can find, we'll scroll back up here. Under the description, we see all the different events that it can do. So if you see right here, it says the track event function sends an event to analytics tools connected to your site. It can send events to Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel. So this call that we're going to put in our code will send the information either to a Pixel or to Google Analytics, whichever. Now, because we have Facebook Pixel installed, it's going to send it to Facebook Pixel. Okay, so and then we just need to pick what tracking we want. So a common one is purchase. We could do leads. Leads is actually really, really easy. And so once you decide which one you want to do, then you have to look at the parameters. Okay, so let's say we're going to do a purchase here. So we want every time someone clicks our button to a purchase event to trigger in the Pixel. Then we need to click on parameters. Okay, that takes us to the purchase event. We can scroll down a little bit, and they give you an example. This example is beautiful because it's everything you need code-wise. Okay, so all you need to do is highlight this thing. It's not letting me highlight. Okay, so all you need to do is copy this. It's not letting me do that either. Okay, so all you need to do is retype all of this into your code window. So let's go back to our code window down here. Fortunately, I have already copied all that from before, and I have it in a little sticky note here. So I'm going to grab that. So the first thing you need is an import command. That's this import Wix window, Wix window. So I'm going to copy that. And they say down here in your code, I'm going to pull this up so that we can see it better. They say that you can put it on the top of your page. That works too. That works fine. It really just needs to go above the function call that you're going to use it at. So I'm going to put it right there because our function is export function button3 click. So I'm going to put the import call right here. And then that does not go between these two brackets. It goes up here above it. Now in the brackets, we're going to paste the call from our tracking page. So if we go back here a minute to, well, I'll pull it up this way. if we go to the code in that API, we have a Wix track event purchase. So I'm going to copy this code. And I'm going to tab over and paste that in there. Okay, now this is the purchase event. So notice that we're using wixwindow.trackEvent. We're not using the Facebook call to the pixel. If you go on Facebook, it wants you to use their own special call. We would have used that if we had direct access to the pixel, but we don't in Wix editor. So we have to use the track event call from Wix. So we use this Wix window track event. Notice it's set up for a purchase. Everything else in here are parameters. These parameters you can set up. If they are in quotes, it means it's text. For instance, this ID, T1, you can make this be whatever you want. Affiliation is, again, you can make that be whatever you want. It's not important. It's just information that will go into the tracking. You can put stuff in here about tax, price, revenue, shipping, and you can play with those parameters. Your button will still get trigger an event when they click it, even if these are wrong. It could screw up with some of the calculations on Facebook's side if your numbers aren't right, but you'll still see numbers of clicks. I haven't done much with the buttons myself because I've just wanted to track and know how many times it's been clicked. I haven't worried so much about filling in these prices because I deal with the numbers on my own. So anyway, that's all there is to it with this pasted in. The last thing to do is save it. Okay, so that saved it. And then I'm going to shrink this down. I'm going to hit, let's shrink this down. Then I'm going to preview it. The reason why I'm going to preview it first is, one, to make sure I didn't screw up my page by changing stuff before I make it published to everyone in the world. But the other reason is because if there's an error, it will flag it down here in Developer Console. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. But this all looks fine. As you can see, the headers stuff that was behind my picture in the editor is now all gone. That was the command I was using to hide things because I didn't want to show it on this page. But that's just for looks. The button, if you click it, it would take you to Amazon, but usually it doesn't do that until you publish the website. Okay, so now that looks fine, so I'm going to go back to editor here. All right, we're back in the editor now. If there had been an error when we went to preview it, it would have told us. So if I say, for instance, I delete this semicolon and parentheses out of the function call, that is the end of the function call. If I had made a mistake and that wasn't in there, then if I'd hit saved and I went to that preview screen, so we'll save it, we'll go to the preview screen. Here we go. Look what happens. Down here under Developer Console, we now have this red highlighted item. It says public pages, blah, blah, JavaScript, unexpected token, expected, semicolon. Anyway, this, all you really need to see is that this big red line says, there was an error, and it's not going to work. So when you see that, you know you've messed something up. So you need to go back to the editor and then figure out what about the code got messed up. We know in our case that we had deleted the semicolon and the parentheses. So we just need to put those back. So those that semicolon and parentheses, I believe, went right here. Okay, and I'll put that back. Save. This time when I go to preview, it should not show me an error. Oh, it does show me an error. I put it in the wrong place. See? Super handy, right? Semicolon, parentheses. That's where it goes. Save. Done. Preview. Beautiful. Okay, so see, no error for this, so we know that we're doing good here. I'm going to shrink that back down. Okay, and then you're ready to go, except Facebook won't know that it's in there and working until an event actually happens. So you need to go and actually trigger the first event yourself, so that that gets sent to Facebook, and Facebook realizes that the code is in your site now. So the way you do that is we'll go back to editor. Okay. Now it's time we publish the site. So I'm going to go ahead and hit publish. So there we go. Congratulations. I just published this site. And now I need to go to the actual website and click that button so that it sends the information to Facebook. You only need to do it once or twice. You need to activate that so that it sends a button click to the pixel. The Facebook pixel tells Facebook that, hey, I'm getting click events now from this button under the purchase event, and then it will highlight the little green dot in your Facebook Ads Manager that says the Facebook event is working. Okay, so the way you do that, it's a little tricky. You need to go to your page. It's easy if you have your page set up to be in your menu. For me, I have these pages hidden. You have to go directly to them because I'm using them more like landing pages. So this particular page is called Facebook Ad Variation 4, but that's not the web address for it. To find the web address, I'm actually going to go hit Manage Pages, and I'm going to shrink this code down so we can see it better. Okay, so you can see here's a bunch of stuff about my web page, but in particular, this is the page. I'm going to click the ellipses, okay? And then the fastest way I found to find what the actual web address is to look at this page SEO. You click on that, and it will tell me, oh, look, SEO for Google. It would be here, Matthew DeVore, Facebook Ad Variation 4. That's the name of my page, but the web address is right underneath. It's https://www.matthewdevore.com/copy-of-Facebook Ad Variation 3. And the reason why it has that weird name is because I actually copied this page to duplicated it to create a new page faster. That's why it has this weird name, but that's the web address of this page. So in order to test it, I actually need to type in that web address into my browser. Okay, so I'm gonna shrink that, and it's published, so I'm gonna do that. So we'll go over to Google. I'll come up here. I'll type https://Matthew, there, see, it already knows where I want to go, matthewdevore.com/copy-of-Facebook ad. Now this is a different page, shop now. Mine was copy of Facebook ad variation 3. Great, and so now I'm going to hit that, and that's going to take me to the published web page. So here we are. This is the published web page on the internet. You could actually go to this website if you wanted. You could click this Buy Now button. This is my I have cookies pop up or whatever. Note that because we put the tracking on this Click Now button, it will only trigger if you click this Click Now button, okay, or this Buy Now button. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. There we go. And now this takes me to my Amazon page where people could buy the book. But more importantly, it's now sent one of those events to Facebook. So Facebook Ads Manager now knows I have a purchase event set up in my website. Okay? So that's really all there is to it. It's actually decently fast once you see how to do it. So I hope that helped. Let me show you one more thing before I end this video. I'm going to close out that window. I'm going to go, here's our Wix code API reference. I'm going to come back down here to track event. Okay, it's at the bottom. So let's go way down. It's taking time to load. There we go. All right, view mode. Let's see, you can do a lot of stuff with this Wix code. Post message, it's alphabetical, thankfully. Track event, here we go. So this is back to that track event code. If we look down here, all of these guys have parameters. These are the different calls you can do to track event. Notice lead doesn't have any parameters, which means it's really, 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 really easy to implement. So if you wanted to implement lead and track on lead, all you do is you come over to your website. Okay, I'm going to bring the code back up for this page. Say if I didn't want to do purchase, say I wanted to do lead, okay? All I would need to do is, so here's my Wix window track event. The name is purchase, okay? Everything from this comma on are the parameters for purchase, a purchase event. So I'm actually just going to delete that. So I'm going to delete all of that up through this end parentheses semicolon, okay? And then I'm going to put parentheses semicolon back. You have to have that to end this function. And now inside of here, I'm going to delete purchase, and I'm going to type lead. And that's it. So that sets up a lead event. So then I would hit save, and I could preview it just like we did before to see if there are any errors. And there are not. So the developer console, we're happy down here. So I'm going to go back to editor. Okay, I could publish my site again, and then I would need to go to the actual webpage and click the button so that my first lead event is sent to Facebook. But that's all you have to do. So if you just wanted to track leads, it's very, very simple because you don't have to deal with all the parameters. If you want to track any of the other events, then you have parameters that you need to enter. Unfortunately, back at the Wix Code API, it gives you examples for all of those so that you can find them. Again, if you want to look at any particular call, say we'll go back to purchase event. Under the properties here, it tells you what the parameters are. So these are the parameters. So here, ID, that's a string. That means it's a string of text. And that is your product ID if you wanted to track a particular product ID. Your affiliation, that's the name of the store where the event occurred. Revenue, that's a number, so the total amount of purchase. Okay, so these parameters are the parameters you see in the code down here. So ID, affiliation, revenue, that is what is spelled out up here. The other thing you see it says optional. Optional means that it's optional. And so you don't have to have it. It's not strictly important for sending the track event. When I did it, I just left them all in there. I changed some of the numbers to 0 just so that it wouldn't mess up the math too bad. But most of those you can enter what you want. The most important part for getting numbers of clicks is just to have this call in here. If you want to start playing with the parameters, you can to set it up and be more specific. But I don't know a lot about that yet because I haven't bothered with it. I've mostly just been concerned with number of times it's been clicked. So that's how you do it. Hopefully this helps and that makes it a little bit simpler for you. And thanks. Good luck.